What is up, everybody? Man, it has been a very long time. It feels really good to be getting back to these videos. The reason why I took such a long break is pretty simple, actually. We hit the off season, and usually what I do when we hit the off season is I start looking towards free agency and doing all that stuff, but I didn't want to burn out before anything actually happened, because then I wouldn't be ready to make videos when stuff starts going down. But the New Orleans Saints have been doing a real ton of work within the last week or two. We have been doing everything we can to inch closer to that salary cap hit so that we're not over the cap anymore. We've been releasing some. We had to make some really tough decisions that I haven't been able to give my take on, so we're going to be doing that today. We're going to be going over what the New Orleans Saints have been doing to get back to the cap and be able to make room and do things that they wouldn't have been able to do over the cap. Obviously, you're not allowed to be over the cap, dude, and that the Saints were in a really bad spot, and everybody knew it. We were a laughing stock for a minute. It was a running joke within the NFL community that the New Orleans Saints started out this offseason around like 60 to 100 million. It was something really insane over the cap. It was ridiculous. My research says it's 64 million, but I heard a lot of people saying we were 90 to 100. It is what it is, conflicting numbers. We were a shit ton of money over the cap regardless. But thanks to some really hard departures and some really good work by Mickey Loomis and company, we have been able to successfully wiggle down to a much more reasonable point, which I will be showcasing at the end of this video. This would have been a lot easier for the New Orleans Saints if the pandemic hadn't nay-nayed almost $20 million from this year's salary cap limit, which it's just our luck, dude. It really is that would have happened the year that we have to get rid of a bunch of contracts and free up a bunch of money. It just made it even harder for us and put us $20 more million in the hole. But let's go ahead and talk about what we've been doing and how we got down to the miracle number that we're at right now, which is almost at that magical spot that we need to hit. The New Orleans Saints have released the first two I'm going to go over, Emmanuel Sanders and Quan Alexander. I'm putting these two together for time constraint and because they actually happened really close in proximity to each other. This one was tough. These sucked quite a bit, but this move saved us almost $20 million in cap space and just made too much sense. Of course, we all loved watching Emmanuel Sanders play in New Orleans. When Michael Thomas was out there, it finally felt like we had a reputable two that we could trust to go out there and perform when needed to. He had a couple of really good games with Drew Brees, and it showed out on multiple occasions. Emmanuel was fantastic, and it really sucks to see him go. But Michael Thomas missed damn near all of last season, and we were still almost averaging 30 points a game. And we also got to see a really promising receiver develop in Deontay Harris at multiple points last season. We have a good lot of draft picks this year, which we're going to be making a ton of draft videos, so don't even worry about that. We can draft a wide receiver to replace that spot. Don't forget we have Quan Smith, who might be able to break out. We're not sure. We still have to wait on that to see. Emmanuel was also 33 years old, and paying him $8 million when we're drowning in a deficit just made no sense, and he had no place on this roster, sadly. So it was a tough one, but it made way too much sense. The next one, Quan Alexander, this shit hurt. It felt like I just went through a breakup when we lost Quan Alexander, dude. Watching him and Demario Davis play, those are the best few weeks of football I might have ever had. It really looked like we had an amazing linebacking core for one of the first times in a very long time. Him and Demario Davis were a fantastic duo. It was like Demario Davis finally got to be his own player instead of cleaning up for Alex Anzalone's mess. He elevated, and Quan Alexander had amazing chemistry with everybody. I'm so sad to see him go, but his contract was just way too expensive. This move saved us $13 million with not a cent of dead money. So it was a very brilliant move by Mickey Loomis and company to release Quan Alexander. It was an overall smart move, especially when he tore his Achilles last season. He has had a very bad injury history, but man, that sucks major ass. He was very upset about it on Instagram. Broke my heart. But yeah, Quan Alexander, that's one of the players that we lost to this cap restraint. Saved us $13 million. We also lost Thomas Morstead. This one sucks. When you have the one of the only two players on your roster that played for that 2009 Super Bowl team, we lost him, dude. and it kind of sucks because he's always been there. Him and his long ass hair for some reason have always been there. But after a decline, we saw him in very bad moments last year. After a decline, it just made a ton of sense. Like I said, for the others, it was a tough decision, but he had a very, very, very bad year last year, especially for his standards. This saved us $2.5 million against the cap. It was pretty much a straight up give me $2.5 million because Thomas Morstead was not a good player last year, and we kept a backup punter, Blake Gillikin, I think it is, on the roster all last season, almost foreshadowing this moment. So Thomas Morstead, sucks to see you go, man. Thanks for all your years in New Orleans, but that $2.5 million is greatly appreciated. Another player we lost is Janoris Jenkins. This is another smart but tough move. Janoris Jenkins was an awesome corner in New Orleans. It really looked like he was that lockdown number 2 that we have been craving since we tried to bring dumbass Eli Apple over. But he's getting older, and this saved us $7 million against the cap. Not having the duo of Jack Rabbit and Marshawn Lattimore is going to be extremely upsetting, and we will without a doubt need to address this position in either free agency, depending on where we get the salary cap, and in the draft. Like, this sucks, but we're going to have to find a replacement. I will forever remember that pick 6 he got on Tom Brady week 1 this year. That will forever be a one-time greatest Saint moment ever. That was amazing. I literally am in love with that play because fuck Tom Brady, dude. I hate that dude. If I have to see Patrick Robinson or PJ Williams starting opposite of Lattimore next year, I'm going to cry. I'm going to turn the TV off. I cannot stand that shit, dude. PJ Williams specifically is just so dog shit. I cannot. No. So we're going to have to find a replacement for Jack Rabbit quick. He was getting older, so getting a young corner to take his spot is not at all a bad decision. We also lost Malcolm Brown. This one saved us almost $5 million. This one stings a little bit as Malcolm really performed quite well in New Orleans. He was one of our really, really underrated pickups, even though he had a super limited role. It's tough, but it is what it is. That's $5 million saved. We restructured Michael Thomas's contract as well. That saved us $8.7 million for our cap space. We also restructured Cameron Jordan and Demario Davis. That saved us about $13 million. We franchise tagged Marcus Williams, but that costed around $10 million. So after all of that, and there are probably some things I still missed because the Saints have been doing so much, but this is what I was able to dig up. The Saints are currently $17,168,021 over the cap, which is still a steep mound to overcome, but there are a lot of options. Restructuring Teron Armstead, getting rid of a few more guys, restructuring Taysom Hill's fat-ass contract, or just letting him go and saving $5 million. There are a lot of contracts we could restructure to get this back down below the cap, where we can talk about restraining Jameis Winston and bringing back players we need to bring back and maybe even making some free agent acquisitions. Very, very happy with the work the Saints have been putting in. The salary cap, or the cap deadline, the start of the new league year, is in about 4 days, I believe it is, this upcoming Wednesday. So we're going to have to make some moves to get this under that as soon as physically possible. But let me know down in the comment section below what you think about the Saints doing the work they've done on the salary cap, and if you think we'll be able to get under and maintain a good salary cap space for the time being. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Hopefully you give me a warm welcome back. It was really, really, really fun making a video for the first time in over a month. I really missed this channel. I'm not sure my upload schedule. I'll be uploading every time something major happens, and I will be uploading at least twice a week, so I'll be glad to see you guys there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Adios.